Hi there everybody, this is David, and we have some really exciting news in regards to Dragon Quest 1 and 2 that I do want to go over, from the Princess of Canock, when she joins, what abilities she has, and everything else that we know about the first hour or so of gameplay. And I do want to tell you all about it, and I definitely do think that's worth the sub as you come and you join a party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for the sub and the like, it helps me out more than you know. So Square Enix is kind of on fire right now, I've got to say. We've known about Dragon Quest 1 and 2 getting this remake since like 5 years ago, whenever Yuji Horii kind of leaked it, and he wasn't supposed to, whenever he was talking about Dragon Quest 3. But anyway, I've been super stoked about this. It is coming out October 30th of this year, and while we didn't get a trailer in the English Nintendo Direct, Japan did get a trailer in their Nintendo Direct. And I went over that, and we looked over that in a video just the other day. I talked about it in New RPG News, but now, in addition to getting their own little trailer, they also got their own little live stream. This is called Zoma Plays, and it has Zoma from Dragon Quest 3, I guess VTubing, or, you know, let's playing this game and everything. He's the voice actor for Zoma, and I had a whole lot of commenters telling me about this, but then one commenter, Damien Cypher, actually emailed me the link to it, and I was like, whoa, I've got to check this out. I watched the entire live stream, and then I'm like, you know what, I really need to know what's going on. So I watched it, and I stopped the frame, and I went to Google Lens, and then I translated it, and I have some of the high points here to share with y'all, so you know exactly what is going on, and we know everything that the Princess of Canock can do, because yeah, she joins first. Who knew? But we're gonna get all into that as well. So starting up here, they're choosing Dragon Quest 2, and it gives a little overview blurb. It says, a world where 3 countries have been established by the descendants of the hero, Roto, who once saved the land of Alefgard. However, that peace is suddenly shattered by an army of terrifying monsters. To confront the spreading power of darkness, a group of young princes and princesses descended from Loto embark on a journey to restore true peace. So Loto, if you don't know, is Erdrick in Japan. We've known about that since, like, I want to say, with the Game Boy Color days. They kind of put in Loto instead of Erdrick and all that. So not only do we get that kind of little overview blurb, but we also get a new opening cutscene in a very Octopath Traveler sort of way, with like the colored pencils, artwork, and everything. It's absolutely gorgeous. Long ago, the descendant of the legendary hero Loto, the Dragon King, was defeated by a young man, and the world regained its light. And then, instead of opening up with the attack on Moonbrook like it did in the NES version, instead it opens up with the birth of the prince and princesses. So here we have the Queen of Laresia, which is Midenhall in the American version. I'm probably just going to use American terms because that's just what I know. So you can name your own character here, as you can tell, and because it's Zoma streaming, he named it, you know, Zoma. So you're going to see a lot of like Baramos and Zoma and things like that as the characters' names and everything, but you know, that's, yeah. So yeah, you don't have to use their names. You can name your characters whatever you want. That's a new addition. That's something we didn't know. We thought that they all had, you know, their own names and everything, or like canonical names that you had to use, kind of like in the NES version. But no. So here we get another little blurb right here. This is the King of Moonbrook, with the Princess of Moonbrook being born. It says they're all around the same age. I'm sure they'll all become good friends, just as kings Loria and Simatoria and I have become good friends. So we're talking about Midenhall and Canock. That's Simatoria is Canock right there. Then from the birth vignette, it goes into the attack on Moonbrook right there. And then it kind of opens up where the NES version opened up, where you actually get to go around the town of Midenhall and all that kind of stuff. You get to look around, you get to talk to a whole bunch of people. And then after that, after talking to a whole bunch of people, then the soldier from Moonbrook comes in and he tells, you know, what happened at Moonbrook. Whereas in the Famicom version of the game, you didn't even get to see Hargon attack Moonbrook. The soldier just came in at the very beginning of the game and just told you that and everything else like here. But so you get to explore Midenhall, then the soldier comes in, Then you get to talk to the king, and the king tells you about Hargon, and the king also tells you, hey, you need to go to Canock, and you need to tell the king what happened there. I'm going to set you in charge, but you also need to find your companions with you. You need to find your cousins. You need to find, the Prince of Canock and the Princess of Moonbrook to go along with you. So then Zoma leaves Midenhall. It doesn't show any kind of battles or anything else like that. It does show a couple of sparklies on the world map, so those have returned. He does not collect the sparklies. I was trying to get a screenshot of that, but he does not collect any of the sparklies. He also does not go to Leftwind. He goes straight into Canock Castle, and he does not speak to anybody in Canock either. You can tell that Square Enix was like, you need to do exactly this. Do not do anything else. Don't talk to anybody else. Don't do any spoilers. Don't show any treasures. Don't go anywhere off the beaten path. So he's only talking to the people that he has to talk to. He goes on in and he talks to the King of Canock, and during these scenes, the Princess of Canock is eavesdropping, and she's trying to figure out, what is going on, and the king is saying, hey, go to the Fountain of Heroes, which is known as the Baptismal Cave, bring back my son, Demon Lord Baramos. So like I said, the Zoma was naming them after evil villains and all that kind of stuff right there. So then after that, the Princess of Canock goes ahead and drags the Prince of Midenhall into her bedroom, and it's like, hey, what happened over in Moonbrook? What is going on here? I understand that this is very dangerous. I understand that you don't want to go alone, so therefore I'm going to go with you to look for him. Then at that point you get a chance to name Matilda or the Princess of Canock. You can name her whatever it is that you want to. That's completely up to you. At that point, the game tells you that the Princess of Canock joins you, but she is uncontrollable. She joins up as an AI-controlled party member. It says she will join you in battle as a support member when you encounter a monster while accompanying you. However, Princess Samatoria fights of her own volition, so you cannot give her orders. You can also not hand over any items. So remember whenever I said that I got to play this game a couple of months ago? I did. I got to play it a couple of months ago, made a video about that. I started off in Hamlin right after the Princess of Moonbrook joined the party, and the Princess of Canock was not with me. In all sorts of different future cutscenes of them getting the boat, of them going to Leonport, things like that, the Princess of Canock is not with you. So something tells me she joins as an AI party member just for this very short area, just in order to get the Prince of Canock, and then she's kicked out of your party. That's my understanding of what's going on right here. So here you actually get to see her use Mara, or that is the Blaze spell right there. So I saw that and I'm like, okay, well maybe she's a spellcaster of some sort. She's casting Blaze. But then she's singing in a loud and lively voice, making the Drakies get enthralled. So I'm like, okay, so she can sing. Is she a bard, but she can cast spells? Then she's pointing at a Babel and complaining, saying, hey, you look weird, which infuriates the Babel right there. So I'm like, okay, pointing and complaining and singing, you're a goof off. You're a gadabout. Wow, I was not expecting the Princess of Canock to be a goof-off type character. I was expecting a thief, to be quite honest with you, but she's a goof-off. It says here that she's starting to light a fire and a burning shard heads toward Bubble Slime. So that's not a spell. And then it deals 45 damage, whereas the Mara from before only dealt 11 damage. Here she's casting Mara again. Then it says that she's putting her heart into it and throws a big rock, but the rock, again with the goof off, is randomized and it doesn't hit the Druins in front of you. Instead, it hits your party member. It hits the Prince of Midenhall in the head for 4 damage right there. So again, very goof off. Then it says that she came up with this special move and fired it towards the Druid, but the move wasn't complete, just dealt normal damage. Again, very, very goof off type abilities. the stream ends up ending after roughly an hour or so, right at the end of the baptismal cave, where you would go in and you would see the priest, and then the priest would say, oh, well, the Prince of Canock was here, but he is gone. He's over in Leftwin, and then you have to go over there and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm thinking is happening here is that the Princess of Canock will join you for this area, and then after that, you know, the prince will join, and then they'll probably go back over to the King of Canock, and then the king and the queen will be like, hey, what are you doing? You can't go with them. You're a girl. You have to stay in your room, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, the Prince of Canock will be able to go, and then later on, the Princess of Canock will join your party. So, and then at that point, more than likely, she will be fully controllable, but still, she's a gadabout. She's a goof-off. Who saw that coming? I know that I didn't, but this is really, really, really thrilling news. Thank you so much for the commenters who told me about this, because you all know how much I love Dragon Quest, and I just can't get enough of it. Thank you so much. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this news? What do you think about her abilities? What do you think about the new things that are added to the game? Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.